to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hi, and welcome to the July 10th, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. My name is Shelley Overton, and I am happy to be here with you. I am an astrologer at astrologerangel.com. So, yeah, we are having an interesting day today. I literally just swooped in and started the show. I was out this morning, and all the planets are having their way with me right now. I've got Mars retrograde going back into my third house of transportation. So my car kind of broke down this morning. So I just got back through a lift and swooped in under the radar. So thank you for being here with me and listening in. And anyway, so let's see. This week, I've got to open up Little Ephemeris, and I don't even think I have my glasses with me. Probably not. So hopefully I won't. I'll have to just work without them. I have to tell you, I am a little puzzled. Very stressful morning. And let's see, today is July 10th. And so, of course, Jupiter goes direct this afternoon at 1:02 p.m. Yay. So, I just say yay because that's about the time my car's getting fixed. So hopefully all will be well with my little car and she will survive this ordeal. But anyway, we've got Jupiter direct today, and I'm going to just go over, because last week, I have to tell you, last week I titled the show Transit Alert, and I went through the whole show and completely missed telling you what I was going to tell you, and that was that we had yesterday a square between Mercury and Jupiter. And let me just see where Mercury is today. Jupiter, let's see, Jupiter is at 13 degrees and Mercury at 14 degrees. So they are still in square, and of course Mercury rules transportation and communication, thought, computers, etc. So we have this energy, basically it is an energy of potential fraud coming in, and that means that people are not on the up and up. And it peaked yesterday, but Jupiter goes direct today, which means we're going to also have a repeat of that exact same energy. And let me see if I can find out when that hits again, because it will square. I'm sorry, I did not look to see what that date was, and it doesn't seem to show it immediately on my ephemeris. So I apologize. So I'll look into that on the break and see if I can tell you that date. But, you know, suffice it to say that they're pretty much right there right now. And Mercury goes fairly fast, so there may not be an actual square, because Jupiter, when it goes direct, will not go as fast as Mercury. And since Mercury is already past Jupiter, Mercury probably is not going to have an exact square again, which is why I don't get. It's actually going to race off and do its own thing. And that means that he is chasing Venus. So today, Venus is at 29 degrees of Leo, and she goes into Virgo. And so the shift, Venus at 29 Virgo, is things of beauty, females, feminine energy, acting, actors, anyone who's in like a central figure role that exudes that larger than life energy. Can also be the risk takers. It rules gambling. It is ending in a culmination of a story around women, a woman, or feminine energy. So you can definitely see, and also, because we have Mars in Aquarius, the opposite sign, we have Mercury just past an exact opposition to Mars. Mars in Aquarius is also affecting people with Leo planets in their chart, or strong Leo. And so that means that there's going to be some energy around attachment. An old story we're going to have to go over. So this is the thing. Yesterday, I was talking to my aunt about this, because she's also, everybody has been going through such a difficult time I've noticed, and it has to do with kind of like an emotional energy, and that we're all really feeling a strong emotional difficulty going on in our world. So because we've had the Jupiter, Neptune, Sun all in water signs trining each other, that intensifies this emotionalism. And in our environments, we also see flooding. And I just want to say we have a new moon this week in Cancer. Actually, let me just, yeah, it's 22 Cancer. And so we're going to see this added energy around a new story around families and mothers and nurturing. And that's coming out of our lives right now. So it is seen in the environment as well. And you can see, the flooding and the storms and everything. And then we're going to have this expression of energy. And it also has to do with money and personal value. So look for those stories this week. But Mars in Aquarius retrograde means that as we see Mars go further and further back and get back into Capricorn, we're having this reiteration or going back over the story that we thought we had finally moved on from. And I can tell you personally, this story definitely was expressing in my life, and certain areas of my life felt much freer when Mars went into Aquarius. I felt on top of the game. And as Mars is going back, those situations have completely withdrawn. And the old energy is coming back up in spades. It is fate. The nodes of fate, which are the north and south node, will influence what we feel and see, and it is a major time of shift. And the nodes, what they do is they balance us out. The south node is what we bring in from the past, the energy that we're familiar with. It's karmic energy. It's familiar and comfortable energy, but it may not be the best for us. It can, if we continue to express that, it can be very difficult to continue on because we come in trying to transmute what we had in the past. And so as that energy moves on, we can get a handle on it, get a grip, and really understand it stronger. And it is meant to shift us and bring us to a new place. Now, where that new place is, in a positive sense, is influenced by the North Node. So right now, South Node is Aquarius. It is the culmination of what we are as a people and a collective, and a detachment from others. The North Node is about attachment and connection and relating. How do we relate to others? Is there something we share in common? And so that is the storyline running through society right now, is how can we avoid a detachment and really feel for other people and connect to other people, especially children, which is, of course, also in the news. I don't know if you remember last week, I was talking about multiples and multiplicity. That is the energy of Aquarius, and that is obviously exemplifying what's going on with the Thai boys getting caught in the cave. Mars, they got caught in the cave when Mars went into Aquarius, and Aquarius, again, multiples, Mars is boys, and the retrograde happened, and they were able to get them out. So there's a wonderful example of an energy working on behalf of the situation to get it better and straighten it out, which honestly at this point I'm so thrilled for, because it can be so difficult dealing with a lot of, like I said, the water signs and the emotional energy that we have, that to just see another positive, good feeling news story is wonderful. And Aquarius, of course, can make things a bit difficult energetically. It can mean that maybe technology is not working properly or the way we would prefer. And a witness that I'm trying to post a notification of this show online, and I'm getting difficulty doing that too as well. So know that it's kind of a stressful time. Again, planets are retrograde: Saturn, Pluto, Mars, Neptune are all retrograde, and Mercury goes retrograde soon. I will tell you when that is as well. Let me see here. And no glasses, so bear with me. I'm trying to see what I can't see. Okay, so it's right around August. I know I take it back. Wrong column. The 26th of August, or July, excuse me. 26th of July. So we're going to see a slowdown of the energy, and I thought I marked it on the calendar when the shadow period was. But I guess I marked Venus's shadow period the other day. So we're going to be coming into that shadow period pretty soon, and that means that we may have to we will have to redo things. Just so you know, there is going to be a repercussion, and so taking the Thai boys in the cave story, Mercury is the lungs. They've been talking about lungs with these boys, and the cave. I don't know if you've heard any of this, but they finally got all the boys out this morning, and they all went directly to the hospital. They're quarantining them because there are multiple issues that could come from being in a cave. One was fungus in the lungs. Another is bacteria from the bat guano. And they also have bats, which can have rabies, so they have to quarantine all the boys. And all of those can be seen with Mercury. Of course, Mercury rules lungs. And so having Mercury go retrograde coming up, I do see that there are going to be some issues with these boys, and it might happen that it will be seen after they go home, because Mercury, like right now, at 14, when Mercury gets back to 14, we may see some of those issues, or even the degree that it was at when they got lost in the cave. And honestly, I don't know when that was, but maybe I can do an article on my website about the whole thing and break it down into some of the issues and some energy that went on with it. So anyway, we have a lot going on this week with continuing energy of water signs. So Neptune is at 16 degrees still. Like I said, it's trine to Jupiter, which is at 13, and Jupiter goes direct. So again, when Jupiter hits the degree of Neptune, which is 16, they're going to have another direct trine. That is another strong aspect around transition and transformation. But the difference with this is, though, like before, when we had Jupiter trining Neptune in retrograde, it meant that we went back towards the old energy. And in this case, Jupiter in Scorpio means that the old energy is indicative of our psychology and the deeper personal value we feel we have in life. And so those issues can, and when we go through them, we are so frustrated by them that we want them to end. We want it not to be like that anymore. And as Jupiter went direct past some degree of Scorpio, it actually gave us a more positive outlook. When it went retrograde, we all can feel those deep emotional issues that were affecting us from before, and now we feel frustrated because Jupiter retrograde from Saturn, and it wants us to own those feelings and say, is this something that you feel is something you can continue to do? Now, when you are in that situation and may not see an answer, that's when we can get very frustrated, and in Scorpio, we can have suicidal thoughts. That's part of Scorpio, death and rebirth. So when that happens, know that that particular energy is going to be shifting again, and it shifts tonight or this afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we have this energy shifting and basically putting us back in that more positive energy. So, we can feel better about ourselves. It is a shift again, and it's a positive shift. It's the final time that Jupiter passes over these degrees. So it's really the culmination of the energy and the story ending and getting resolved. So I guess if anything I want you to know that that is a positive, and it's right here. It's not going to be long. So we, like if we look at it as if this is something that is temporary, it can make us feel better. And anyway, so coupled with Neptune, it is about the dream. Of course, Neptune retrograde means now we are having more clarity about the situation, and we're more practical or pragmatic about a solution, and we may have to do something in a temporary sense to make those dreams come true. And it has to do with really resolving those illusions that we have and being more practical about what we're doing. So that's energy coming in this week. And what else do we have here? We have Uranus in Taurus at 2 degrees, trining Saturn retrograde at 4. And of course, it's actually also trining Venus, but Venus goes in pretty quickly today. Let me just look up when she goes in to Virgo, because I'm pretty sure she moves in today as well, or possibly tomorrow. Let me see. Jupiter direct at 1. She's literally so close. She's like 29 degrees and 56 minutes. So I don't know why I can't see it on this book other than the fact that, my vision. Oh, okay. It says that she went into Virgo on Monday, but okay. Wow, I really apologize because I had the chart up for yesterday because I flew in here and I didn't have a moment to get this set up. So she actually did already shift. So Venus is at 0 degrees 35 Virgo right now. That's where she's at. And so she is also in that grand trine in Earth. So we have grand trine energy in water and grand trine in Earth, which is mud, but it is also a shift in ideology around practicality and earth energy, but it can also be very positive. So it means that we may see a shift in the material world and what's going on with our own finances, with our jobs, with buildings, with structures of the business we're in, of the government. We just had a new nomination for Supreme Court Justice yesterday. Again, Earth energy, and let me just tell you when. So I've got Venus going in at 10:32 p.m. last night, which I find really interesting. Venus at the last degrees of Leo can mean energy around ego and egocentric motivation and drive and desires. But Venus in Virgo immediately after the nomination means that there's much more of a practical, pragmatic, feminine energy. So it is really likely, and I kind of sense this a little bit about the nomination, is that while he initially is conservative, et cetera, he has a more feminine energy surrounding him. He has 2 daughters, and his chart also, he's got Virgo energy. He was born in 1965, and he's also an Aquarian, born in 1965, which means that he had Uranus and Pluto conjunct in Virgo, and so Mercury does affect him. And that being said, he has Mercury going into its shadow period, and of course the Venus in Virgo, which then answers to Mercury. So yeah, we have a lot of feminine energy coming up for him, and retrograde energy. And of course, he was nominated during all this retrograde of Mars in Aquarius. I would venture to say, even though I think he may, even if he becomes a Supreme Court justice, there's a good chance that he will have a more receptive energy about him in how he dictates. And then also, even getting to that point, Mars is retrograde, so it means going back over the past and taking action towards the past, and that falls on all his Aquarius energy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. He may actually have to go back. That, Mars retrograde means going back over the old stuff, and also the vetting process, of course. And if he does get approved, he'll probably get approved around the time, or go into office around the time Mars goes direct or at least gets back into Aquarius, which is close to September. I believe it's September 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, because he does have 3 planets in Aquarius. So I think it's Sun, Venus, and Mercury, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so the Sun is at 18 degrees Cancer, opposite 20 degrees Pluto. These planets are all, I mean, I can't even tell you. Looking at this chart, I have two grand trines. I've got 4 squares between, or T-squares, one going, let me just look here real quick. Yeah, one going between Venus, Jupiter, and Mars, and the other one going between Jupiter, Mars, and Uranus. So it's a lot of energy. And then we have 2 inconjuncts, which means that they are 150 degrees apart from each other, and that is Neptune and Mercury down to Mars. So we are heavily being influenced by the inner planets and the outer planets combining and taking action together and talking together. So let me just try and make sense of all that for you. Venus in trine to Saturn is owning and structure of feminine energy in women. Jupiter squaring Mercury and then also squaring Mars means that Jupiter is at the fulcrum point between an opposition, opposition? Yes, opposition between Mars and Mercury. So Jupiter is the one, especially going direct today, means that the Jupiter energy is going to give the solution to the discord between our thoughts and our intellect, our communication style, where we put our mental energy and where we put our physical action-based energy. So right now, what we think is at opposition to what we do. And what we do is not able to really culminate in what we think it should. And that's because Mars is retrograde. And Mars retrograde very much makes us feel frustrated because the action we are taking is not culminating in anything. It is on hold, so to speak. And I remember the last Mars retrograde, and it was the most frustrating energy. I have Mars in Cancer, and Mars in Cancer wants to get things done, along with Mars in Virgo. People with Mars in Virgo are going to be really affected by this as well. And I personally have 2 males in my family who have Mars in Virgo. So the frustration level will probably be off the hook for that. So having that Mars retrograde, like I said, let me just tell you when it goes direct, and that will probably help ease your mind so that you can look forward to it. Let me just find here. Looking it up. August. Okay, good. It's August 26th. It goes direct. But it will be in Capricorn before then. It's only in Capricorn for like about 10 days. It goes in on the 14th of August. So we've got a little bit of time. We got 2 months of this frustration before we actually get a little relief. But having Mercury opposite that energy, and then of course retrograding, which means it goes back into opposition, it's a summer of Mercury opposing Mars. And because it's Leo, it's about wanting to connect, wanting to be social, but social energy is not supportive and cooperative, and nor is the action we're taking, that we're just disconnecting. And Jupiter in Scorpio means that we've been taking it to heart, and it's frustrating, and we want something to change and be good for us, but it doesn't seem to be happening that way. Jupiter direct means that we will find solutions, at least for feeling better emotionally. And the solution is Jupiterian. And that means that we will just detach and stop being so absorbed in other people's emotional energy. So if that's where you're coming from, and honestly, right now, this very second in my life, it is where I'm coming from. And I will tell you a little secret. It's directly between my moon, which is my mother, and Neptune, which is my ideal situation. And I can tell you this morning there's some friction with my mother, and so I feel it very strongly. I feel that discord going on right now because Mercury represents my mother, or excuse me, my father in my chart right now because he's a Leo. And Moon is right near my Jupiter, Neptune energy, and that means discord and transformation. And then Mars in Aquarius is my home and family house. So I've got Mars dabbling on the cusp of home and family. So what does that mean? It means that there is a very strong desire to shift energy and be free in the home life and devoid of having to answer to other entities in the home situation, which I have in multiple ways, but it can also mean a shift moving forward, or in this case, backwards for a couple months. So it's going to get better. I'm just going to tell you it will get better, but we do have to kind of go through the fire, and that's what this summer is. It is very much a summer of tests. So I'm sorry to not give you better information. Anyway, I gave you good information. I just didn't give you good news. But today, Moon is at 13 Gemini, and she is in conjunct to Jupiter. So at the exact degree, almost to the exact minute. So right now, Moon is at 1328, and Jupiter is at 1320. So they are very much talking to each other. She just went past an exact in conjunct minutes ago. And so Jupiter, Moon, again, more mother, more family, duplicity, duality. Things are not being said that are meaningful, or somehow the situation is such that you may think one thing is going to happen and another happens. So, it's a dichotomy or a duplicity or a polarity in your life, and it's around home, family, and mom. And then let's see, Uranus and Saturn. So Uranus at 2 degrees Taurus. Again, we know that energy. It's about technology. It's about the structure of technology. I heard there's a lot of shifting going on around the rules and structures of cryptocurrency. I also read an article today that there's like $12 billion in cryptocurrency missing. And I'm kind of wondering how that can be unless somebody the only way, and I don't know how much you know about it. If you listen to my podcast, I've explained cryptocurrency a little bit to you, and it's just basically a type of code that is generated from dedicated computers. And then once the code is written and put out into the public domain, it can be bought and goes into a wallet. When the wallet is the site that holds the numbers on how much cryptocurrency you own, it's like a bank. And in the case of what went on, this wallet or bank of cryptocurrency is corrupted. And so that means that those particular cryptocurrencies have somehow disappeared because the wallet was insecure. I'm not sure how that's even possible, because the whole point of cryptocurrency is that it's open source and multiple computers have what is the word? I totally just lost my word. Have the record of what's going on. And so the whole reason that cryptocurrencies are supposed to be good is that it can be traced. It's always, you can't really hide with cryptocurrency. Every transaction with a particular coin is recorded within the coin itself. So anyway, I hope that clarifies a little bit about cryptocurrency. Anyway, let's see. Pluto is sextile to Neptune. That means that while Neptune and Pluto are retrograde, they are still talking and they are trying to work in positive aspect to getting things more idealized. But they are having to go back over the old energy and talk to the old energy and work with the old energy. And so we're going back over the story. And the story is about hierarchy. It is about authority. It is about the structure of government. It is about anything hierarchical in our society. And the idea of Neptune retrograde is the story of the past. We are going back over the story of the past. The way to get that to move forward and move into the future is having those planets go direct. So currently over the summer, because they are going to be there for a while, I think I mentioned, I thought it was Mars that went direct around September 9th, but it is actually Saturn. So Saturn goes direct on September 6th. So we'll see that shift. We'll see a moving forward within the structure of government, but it is at only 4 degrees. It's going to continue to retrograde until then, so it's going to get very close to the beginning, I think 2 degrees. Yeah, it gets to 2 degrees before it goes direct. And so we're going to see, I mean, honestly, as the planets go backwards, we're still trying to act in the old energy, and the old energy is outmoded, outdated, and astrologically everything changes in life. Everything changes. They say that is the only constant. And so as much as we want things to stay the same, they are not destined to stay the same. And with planets retrograde, we are going back over the old energy to try and integrate what we've learned from that particular energy, but it is in the process of changing. And it really is, and the last thing I'm going to say about this is Mars going backwards is, you want to take action, you took action, now you've got to go back over it and decide, is that truly the action you want to take? When Mars gets back into Pluto, it will be, is this really what you want? And at that point, you say yay or nay. And for me, I will say yes, it is what I want. And then that changes. The change happens. And it is an energy of this change is scary because it's one that we've never lived through before. We don't know what's on the other side, but we are driven internally and viscerally to make that change. So we are basically flying blind, but with our internal compass intact. So if you've been having difficulty really the situation changing, know that we are in a process. It will change. The fall of this year is going to be much, or autumn, for Europeans who like to call it autumn and want us to call it autumn, it's going to change because there isn't a choice. The planets continue to move. They move into new signs. They create awareness of energy all the time that is foreign to what we are used to. Saturn in Capricorn, or any planet in Capricorn, wants it to stay the same, and planets that are impressed into Capricorn in a chart, a birth chart, an event chart, they do stay consistent for a great period of time, for longer than other things may stay the same. So if you're looking to have something be true and stay around a long time, do it under Saturn in Capricorn. But Saturn retrograde, probably even longer, but that means it also may outlive its usefulness, and you don't want that. So anyway, I'm going to take a break, and if you would like your call taken, please press 1, and then I will come back and do calls. So give us a quick 2 minutes. Okay, welcome back. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Shelley Overton, and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. I am happy to be here to answer your calls. We actually don't have a lot of callers waiting. We have a few listeners, but if you would like to have me answer a question of yours, please do hit the 1 on the keypad, and that will let me know that you want to get a reading today. And also, I didn't get a chance to promote the show the way I normally do, so I am a few people down on the caller list, the call waiting. So since it appears that we don't have anybody who wants a reading right now, we can look into other things. So let me just look around and see what's going on in news. We could maybe, how about we pull up a chart here? Or if any of you, actually, I'm going to also open the chat room, which I have not launched yet. Let me just launch that real quick. And if you have any questions that you don't want to get on air, but you would like to ask them, you can ask them over in the chat room. And I can answer them for you. So we're just giving it a second here while it boots up. So we're getting kind of a chill day here at the AstroEnergy show. So there you go. Yay, okay, let's take some calls. Hi, 561, how are you?
Hey, Shelley, this is James.
James, so good to hear from you. My goodness. How are you doing?
I think I'm okay.
Oh, good deal.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Honestly, I've switched computers since I think I last talked to you. I may not even have your information in my computer anymore. Let me see.
Oh, that's funny.
No, I don't see it. Okay. So, well, let me see. Let me double check. I'm going to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Oh, no, there it is. I've got it. Never mind. So, we've got it. Yay. You're so happy and cute. Anyway, okay, what can I do for you today?
I'm starting to feel stuck again.
Oh, yeah, we all are.
And, I do know that this, I get, and, I get that this is kind of part of my little path that I'm walking on, but I'm just wondering, what can I do to kind of help myself out a little bit here?
Okay, so your path, let's see here. Saturn and Scorpio. Now tell me again, are you in some type of therapy field or
I am.
Health field? I wish I could remember everyone's career. Sorry, go ahead.
Way worse than that. It's way worse than that.
Government? Government, yeah. Okay, I thought I remember. Like when you say worse, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. He's government. So yeah. Oh my goodness. You're not in Washington, are you? Are you in Florida?
No, thank God. I'm in Florida. I'm in local government.
Okay.
So,
okay,
city.
good. Oh, fun. What the heck? I'm sorry. Sorry, my phone's ringing and I can hear it. It goes onto my computer as well, so I hear it there. Anyway, so yeah, I feel for you because Jupiter's in Scorpio. So the reason that you're feeling a little frustrated right now is you have natal Pluto in Scorpio, which again, anything Scorpio rules law or government, and Mars is also in the house of Scorpio, but it's in Aquarius and it just went retrograde. So like I was saying in the opening, I don't know if you were here during the opening, but Mars retrograde is going to make you feel very stuck. All the planets retrograde over the summer will definitely make you just want to pull your hair out. I already feel that way. The good news is Jupiter goes direct today, and that means that Jupiter will be heading through the last degrees of the sign, or the last degrees from where he's at, which is 13 degrees, and will go across all the planets that people have in Scorpio, and it will hit your natal Saturn closer to the end of the year. And so that's the timeline that you're going to definitely have a major shift and transition from where you are. I may have told you that last time you called. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But how to cope with it? Good question. Well, what is it that you're having a difficult time specifically coping with? Is it your thoughts? Is it other people's behavior? Is it certain areas? Or what is it?
You know what it is? It's, a coworker just asked me how I was doing today, and I said, I feel like telling the world to shut up because I feel like I just need more of a time to be with myself and be with my thoughts. But it's like every day I get up, there's something. You know what I mean? Like I'm juggling so many, I'm micromanaging so many emotions and so many people's
Okay, well, let's start there.
requests
Let's
and
start there.
demands. Yeah.
You're micromanaging. So is your micromanaging something that you could shift? Because, having the Saturn in Capricorn is on your Neptune. So what happens, your Neptune's direct, which means that when Neptune's direct, it acts like that idealized visionary, and it wants everything in the way it sees it. And so the way your Neptune sees it is very Capricornian. You have a 3-degree Neptune in Capricorn. So having a Neptune in Capricorn means that, okay, I'm responsible for, relationships, and I understand cooperation. Why isn't everybody else this way? That's your Achilles heel, so to speak. Neptune is there, but Saturn's right on it at 4 degrees, and it's retrograde, which means it's going to go back over your Neptune. So that also is probably even, besides the Mars going over your Jupiter, Mars just retrograded near your Jupiter, and that's in Aquarius, so it's detachment, but Saturn's on your Neptune, which is very much, like if you're talking about feeling like you're micromanaging, Capricorn's the king of micromanagers. So you've got to really evaluate what is yours and what isn't yours. And that's really the lesson from Capricorn and Saturn and, all of it. The lesson is, I have a fear that if I don't do it, it won't get done. And then, oh my goodness, everything will fall apart. Correct?
Yep.
So
totally spot on. Yep.
You need to maybe let a few things fall apart, because if you let them fall apart, they can find their own path. It's like trying to control a giant raging river, but the river wants to go off into tributaries, and you're saying, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And finally, it's like spilling over your arms, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm trying to control you. And it wants to go another path. It has a purpose to go other ways. So the thing is I understand, this is probably part of the problem with hierarchical thinking, is that when you get into, especially into corporate or governmental service, the Capricorn energy, which really rules that part of society, it rules government, it rules hierarchy, it takes you to task. It's a blamer. Okay, that's what Capricorn does when it feels frustrated and insecure. It wants to blame other people for not being enough, right? So you have to look at, and the only reason I'm telling you, I'm not saying they're not doing it wrong. They could be doing everything wrong. But the bottom line is you're the one who's doing the reacting. And that is your realm. So if you're having an issue with too much, you have to take ownership of what is enough. And then everything else beyond that has to go. That's what you have to do. So if you want it less stressful, you decide what you're capable of handling and either pass the buck in a sense of give it to someone who can take ownership of it. Say, hey, here it is. It's yours now. And I can tell you, having worked in corporate America, when you give others the trust that it'll get done when you let it go, they rise to the bar. So if you can do that, I would suggest doing that.
Wow. That is good. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Because even here I run a commissioner's office. I'm his office manager.
Oh my goodness.
And I handle all of the constituent stuff. And so every day it's people yelling at me, people screaming at me, cursing me out, the whole thing. And my role is to connect them with the city services that they need. And so it's just, when you add that plus the personal dynamic.
Let me address that, because I'm having, I definitely in my personal life have both sides of that issue in my mind, and I think about it a lot, believe it or not, because I'm a Virgo and I have a lot of Virgo. So I think about how I come across, and I think about how I can be better with people. And when I fall short and when I'm short with people, I'm like, damn, why am I so frustrated? And I know it's not their fault, but sometimes, and this is what I end up doing when I have to deal with people, is I start explaining where I'm coming from so they understand that it's really not them, it's really the situation that's frustrating me. So part of me wants to tell you, and this is probably my Scorpio moon, wants to tell you to address them like, well, first off, and this is the thought process I just had. First off, when you have these people yelling at you, no, it isn't you. It isn't you. It's that they probably either have pressure coming from above them or are having other issues in their life that are really stressing them out, and they're taking it out on you. It's not you.
Right.
You just happen to be the representation of the energy at that moment. They're just projecting onto you. So when I particularly have frustration and I have a situation that I have it's my karmic energy right now with all these transits, and I get very frustrated with this particular situation, and I'll just tell you it has to do with bank fees. And it's frustrating the crap out of me, right? So I call and I call and I call and I call and I tell them, and I have to go over it every time. So what happens is when you tell that person, I understand you, and you may or may not understand them, but you what is it? Debomb. What was the word? When you take away the energy, you can you basically undermine that anger by being nice. And even though it's so difficult when somebody's being mad at you, your first reaction is to defend yourself and mean back. But when they're being agitated, you have an in, because Mars is retrograde and it wants to get mad. The other thing is, you go, okay, this person is, whether or not they are, just assume or presume that they have a mother who is in a nursing home that is maybe dying of Alzheimer's, and they have children on the other end who are not giving them enough attention or whatever. Just pretend that they have a really difficult home life and say, wow, you poor thing, you really, even if you have to be a little patronizing, you can go, wow, this person's life must really suck that they have to treat me like this, and then find the compassion. I know it's not easy, but I can tell you, as a person who gets stressed out and frustrated with customer service people who I have to repeat continuously the situation, the thing that derails my anger is someone who actually genuinely gives a crap. And when you approach them like, it must be really stressful for you. Even just say that one phrase to them when they come at you angry, it must be really stressful for you. And you can be sincere about it. They may take it as, flippant. But just go, it must be really stressful to have to deal with that. Let's see what we can do. And those two sentences, oh my God, will make it so much better. Because they just want to be heard. They want to know that you give a crap. And also, a nice person to a mean person shows the contrast of just how rude they are. And it may give them a moment to pause and go, oh, yeah, I'm being real, you know what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I totally get you. Advice. Yeah, and I can also tell you it is stressful, but Jupiter will be going direct tonight, and that is honestly the saving grace, because Jupiter lets things go. Jupiter doesn't dwell on stuff. It wants to just move on. And that energy will be in your house of the fifth house of Leo, which is the relating house. Okay, that's the house, the psychological house. Well, for you, because it's Scorpio in that house. But Leo wants to connect. Scorpio wants to merge. Like Leo and Scorpio together overlaid is very much about, me and you together. What can we do together? And having Jupiter retrograde in that area of your chart has been like restrictive for you. You cannot relate. But Jupiter direct, it will let you relate, but it will also let you let go. And I hope that came across okay. So many lets. But it's going to give you the ability to let go. And the good thing is, in 5 degrees, when Jupiter gets to 18, it goes into your house of work and makes things much more tolerable, because you're not going to take them so to heart. Okay? That happens the 8th of September. let me see, Jupiter gets to, wow, really? It's at 13. I guess it takes a couple months to get there, but in September it will get there. And I think I already told you, September is when Saturn goes direct, and that's in your house of marriage and partnership on your Neptune. So I would definitely say look forward to Saturn in September, because that's when it's going to really release the energy around this particular job, because Jupiter will be on your Saturn, which is career. It's going to make a shift and change and transformation for you. So yeah, you'll probably change jobs or careers at that point. And there is a lot more fun on the horizon with Jupiter moving into Sag at the end of the month, at the end of the year. And then Saturn direct on your Neptune is like, own your dream, own what it is you want to do with yourself. Mars turning direct later on your Jupiter in partnership and commitment. And Mars goes into your ninth house of travel, and that's a Sagittarius house that Jupiter is going into. So definitely coming September, October, November, you're not even going to recognize. You're probably not even going to stay in the same place. I would think that you're going to move. I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying definitely, but there's definitely a possibility that a job opportunity will open up farther away, or you'll get a chance to travel with your job, which makes you happier.
Amen. Man, I hope the universe is listening.
You hope what?
I hope the universe is listening proactively here with that.
It is. And all I can say is, and honestly, this is an issue for everybody, that Capricorn energy, you've got to let it go. Watch Frozen again. You've got to let it go. Because this is why I love the movie Frozen so much, because it came out when Pluto went into Capricorn. And in that timeline when everybody needed to let it go, there is no coincidence. It was absolutely, there was a reason that movie became so big and came out at that time. I mean, everything was in divine timing, in my opinion. And the message is, here's a woman who goes through her life, and her parents, authority, hierarchy, said, oh no, we're afraid, we don't know what this is, you need to hole yourself up in this room. And they passed those fears on to their daughter, who got raised in this room and away from her sister. Everything she loved, everything she wanted, she basically took on that fear and didn't want to have any fun, because she was so afraid that her responsibility was to make her parents happy and to not do whatever this fearful thing was. And then when she finally broke free and became queen, it was like, I'm letting it go. I'm not going to be that person anymore. And I got chills all over my body. I'm telling you, there was a reason that movie was big, and people need to take that to heart. It shows very clearly how fear and acting out of fear can remove the love in our lives and spirit. So take it to heart. Trust me. Okay?
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that. Oh, my God. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's always good to help people.
That was great. Oh, that's so good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You take care, James.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, let's take 631. Hi, 631. How are you?
Hello. I'm well. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Who is this?
Yeah, this is Nicole.
Nicole. Oh, my goodness. I don't even think you've called the show before, have you?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, wonderful. So give me just 1 second to set up a little card here for you. And tell me first where you were born, because it's the idiosyncrasy of my program. I need to have that first.
Southampton, New York.
Southampton, New York. Okay. And now what's your birthday?
September 30th, 1982.
Okay. Let's see. September 30th. And then what time were you born?
I believe it was 11:34 at night.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's just save that chart. And what can I do for you today?
I'm starting to get a little antsy. I've been out of work for a while now, since my daughter was born. So I'm wondering, if there's something coming up for me soon, as far as, just getting things going as far as my career. It's starting to make me feel stuck.
What sucks?
It's starting to make me feel stuck. Like, I have some, but when you don't have it, when you don't have resources coming in like that on a steady basis, you start to feel a little like closed in, like claustrophobic. Like you can't really move the way you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get you. Okay, so the good news is that you have Jupiter, you're in a Jupiter return. And what that means is Jupiter is 11 degrees in Scorpio in your natal chart. And in the course of the transit around the sun, Jupiter is now back where it was when you were born. And it's like the third time since you were born. So it's your third Jupiter return. And that means that, like I said to the last caller and throughout the show, that Jupiter goes direct. It was retrograde, which is very restrictive, and it goes direct today at 1 p.m. Eastern. So what that means is that all that frustration from your Jupiter, which is very expansive and transformational, will now free up. And that's also the planet of fortune. So let me look a little bit closer in your chart. You have, and the other thing is you have Saturn in the house of home and family. So believe it or not, your life purpose is connected to domesticity and things of the home and family.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because I've been focusing on working at home. So, that's right in line with that. Wow, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is happening right now is you have Saturn on your south node. So you're bringing in energy around the past where you were responsible for everything and everyone. I wouldn't even be surprised if you were like a nurse in a past life, because having South Node and Capricorn in the house, the sixth house, which is naturally Virgo, which is it can be like librarians, teachers, and nurses. But Capricorn is very responsible, and it's a hierarchy. It means that you go in a system, you are used to a system that has someone telling you what to do, and you know your place in it. And Saturn's right there, so it's asking you to take ownership of your own personal authority within the workplace. So not surprising that, yes, I mean, your Saturn naturally is down there in home and family. Saturn transiting is squaring that right now, which means that you're thinking, well, I need to rely more on other people or a hierarchy of needs, not of needs, but of support. So Saturn going in next means that I'm kind of saying it out loud. It doesn't mean that to some people when I say, Saturn's doing this or that, but it just helps me count the energy and understand it better. But Saturn will be moving into your seventh house, marriage and partnership, this year. And let me just look and see when that will be. I'm doing so. I've got the ephemeris up on my computer, and I keep going to my book. Hang on a second. Let's see. Saturn. So you need Saturn to go to 11 degrees Capricorn. And that happens in December. Doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen for jobs. So you're looking for a career. Hang on. Okay, so the other thing, like I said before, Mars is retrograde right now, and Mars taking action, and wherever Mars is in your natal chart, it tells you where you can take action. And I always, when people ask me about their career, I look at Saturn and I look at Mars, because Mars is the drive to do something, and Saturn is the realm that you want to do. Saturn is like your purpose, and Mars says, this is how I'm going to take action to do that. So you have Mars at 7 degrees Sagittarius, and so that's also in your house of helping people, service, the sixth house of work. So you do better when you're able to get outside, when you're able to use your legs and do physical things. You'd be really good at therapist or occupational therapist.
That's what I'm getting my license for, mental health counselor.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's my job, yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that's difficult right now is you have a female like I said, Vesta is usually females. They may take on they may be males, but usually I see Vesta as a female who's difficult, and she's right on your Neptune, which means there's someone who is standing kind of in the way of you doing your dream. Okay? And let me see if I can find a Vesta. I don't know if I have Vesta. Yeah, I do. Let me get my glasses on real quick here. We only have a minute left on the show, so you're probably going to be my last caller. Okay, I'm just looking here to see when Vesta's going to get out of it. So, yeah, Vesta will kind of be, I want to tell you that the end of the year, December, is really good for you as far as everything getting more in alignment. If you can hold out that long, I mean, if you're frustrated, I can tell you definitely frustration's coming from right now because all the planets are retrograde, and especially Mars just went retrograde 2 weeks ago. So it's like everything I do is not going where I want to go. Mars in Aquarius wants you to have that freedom. Everything in your chart, whether you're in a business or doing it out of your home, either one, you may end up with a partner or someone like a marriage partner who supports you, but it is a partner. Saturn's going into your house of partnership the end of the year, which can either mean a marriage partner or a partner for your business. And Pluto's already there, and Mars is going to go back into that partnership house for a brief period of time here, the end of August. But when Mars goes direct, it is working. There is an energy of working for yourself in therapy, and then Saturn, when it goes into Capricorn the end of the year, or it is in Capricorn, when it goes direct into your house of marriage and partnership, can bring you a person who's going to allow you to do that. And that's part of like the divine cooperation of what's going on. And so look for that. I mean, Saturn squaring your Libra, you have 4 planets in Libra in the home and family, and it's just approaching a square to your sun. So what's happening is you're having to do the structure of what it is you want to do in your job. Like you said, you're getting certified. That's Capricorn, getting certified. Definitely good for what you're going to do. And what it's doing is instead of person who's always giving, which your Libra energy wants to do, you are such a humanitarian.
I am.
Saturn, yes. Saturn is having you you have South Node in Capricorn, so you have this understanding of structure. And so it's wanting you to use that understanding of structure that you came in with, like you just know ownership of things. And it's saying, you know this, do this, this is what you have to do. And then you will also get support the end of the year when Saturn goes into that marriage and partnership house because you want the cooperation. The other thing, and I'm running out of time, which is why I'm talking fast. The end of the year.
I get it,
Yeah, Saturn goes into your 7th house of marriage and partnership, which is also the Libra house. So you need other people to make your dream come true. Saturn in Libra is about cooperation. So when Saturn goes into your own house, that 7th house, the end of the year, you're going to find that cooperation. And Saturn goes in the end of 2019 will go into Aquarius, which will give you more opportunity for some freedom. So you may have to go through that being beholden to another person to make the dream come true, but it's going to happen. You are going to have the dream come true. This next year is going to be really big for you, 2019, because Jupiter will be on your Uranus, which is entrepreneurship. It'll be on your Mars, which is taking action, and then it'll hit your Neptune next year at the end of next year, making the dream come true. Okay.
Wow.
So
and
the
I
next
feel
year,
that. I feel like something's about to happen. Like, I do.
It is.
Wow.
And there's opportunity for people of foreign culture and the distance, or again, doing the physical things with the body, sports, therapy, anything like that would be good. Because it's all about Sagittarius, which likes again, lower half of the body, or travel, or, having fun, play, things like that. Okay?
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So it was really good talking to you. Thank you so much for calling the show.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Back. All right. You're welcome.
I will.
Take care. All right. Bye. Have a great time. Bye. Okay, that's the show for this week, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to the last 2 callers, and I do appreciate you calling. I do want to talk to you if you can call in early next week at 347-994-3365, and we'll talk to you soon. You can get me at Astrologer Angel. Take care. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.
To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.